This is the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, John Halpin.
Hey everybody, it's John Halpin. Welcome to the Thursday, October 26th edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Joining me today is Tim Heaney. We're going to start previewing Week 8. You know, Tim, back when we started doing these in August, isn't this the week that Ezekiel Elliott was going to return?
Supposedly, yeah. It was supposed to be a holiday. But obviously the complications there have really arisen. So
yeah, so Zeke is going to play this week. We never know about the future. If you drafted him now, all along you've been happy. Mm-hmm. But if the suspension comes down now, it's probably worse than it would have been the other way.
I think so. You would almost, you always want to assume, but you figure you have a good chance to make the playoffs surviving the first 8 weeks without him. It's good to get yourself in position now for the playoffs either way, but if you haven't been planning for the suspension to be reinstated all this time, you're probably, not going to be in the best spot when, if and when the hammer does come down. All
right. Do we need to talk baseball? I fell asleep in the 9th inning, so you watched, I didn't.
Well, I mean, I think we're a little bit, sadder talking baseball since last week, but, Good first 2 games so far. Rooting for the National League team for obvious reasons. So
okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's so funny. Everybody's getting on Dave Roberts about the bullpen, about going to the bullpen so early. I mean, he had Kenley Jansen with a 1-run lead in the 9th.
It's usually pretty safe. I mean, the Astros being the best lineup in baseball, waking up these last couple of games, yeah, it happens.
And listen, everybody, Rich Hill was not going 8 innings. Not.
Barely goes 6.
Yeah, so don't get mad. Rich Hill was mad. That was a nice little temper tantrum that Rich Hill threw when he got taken out.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to football. Check us out on Twitter. Tim's at Tim_Heaney. I'm at JHalpin37. You can tweet us at RotoWire and get player updates at RotoWire NFL. You can find us on Facebook, where we will have you do a Q&A Sunday at noon. Do you do one tonight too?
John McKechnie does one tonight at 6:30 Eastern. He contributes his stuff, and Jake Latarski does his on Tuesday at 5:30 next week. Right. So yeah, love that good schedule going. I'm happy to be doing this with those guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so we got 6 buys this week: Cardinals, Packers, Jags, Rams, Giants, Titans. We start the action Thursday night with Dolphins and Ravens. Jeremy Maclin's a maybe. DeVante Parker's a maybe. So the Ravens, they're actually giving up. You look at Jay Ajayi with all his. Basically, you look and you say volume-wise, he's about as safe as they get, except for Le'Veon, who gets 40 touches a game or whatever it is. But the Ravens are giving up on a per carry basis. They're giving up a lot of yards.
Yeah, not a perfect defense anymore. I think they'll keep feeding Ajayi. I think they realize, the mistakes. I hope. Matt Moore being quarterback almost opens things up more than Jay Cutler did. So right,
I agree with you. So do you buy into, after what we saw on Sunday? Do you buy into a connection between Matt Moore and Kenny Stills?
I think there's some merit to it. I mean, they've been there for a bit, right? Was it 2 seasons they've been there at least? I could totally see it. I do hope DeVante Parker comes back for their sake. I believe he was questionable, you said, right? So, I believe in that some. I think Stills will get like 5 or 6 targets even with Parker active. I don't think he's going away because they still do some 3-wide sets a lot of the time. So that's not really anything that limits, Stills' snap count maybe, but it'll complicate things in the target picture a little bit. I mean, Landry's still the safest of these 3. So,
right. So everybody, just for context, for a little more detail, Ravens are giving up 145.3 rushing yards per game, 4.4 per carry. Are you at the point where you could start Alex Collins yet?
He's impressing me more. The fumbles don't see, he's kind of corrected those, it seems like, a little bit. And apparently he does Irish dance. I don't know if you saw the feature on him. I mean, apparently I think he started last year, but there was this feature on CBS where he was like, helping a bullied kid because he does Irish dance. And I don't know, Collins might be, the fleet-footedness might have an actual source this time. So
I did not see this one. I got to check that out.
Google it. It's a pretty good special. They show him doing it with the high stepping and everything. Maybe I guess that transitions well to football. I don't know.
All right. I mean, remember when I asked if you could start him, it is about 6 teams on bye.
Right.
I have Collins at 34th at running back, but he's playable.
Yeah. I think Allen's better though.
Yeah.
just because, another one of those bad, those defensive lines could be a bad mismatch for Baltimore, screen passes, whatever. Allen will be involved. PPR, he's a better play, definitely.
All right. Vikings-Browns, 9:30 a.m. kick on Sunday. Don't forget, they're in London. Stefon Diggs traveled with the team. It sounds like I think Mike Zimmer said Wednesday that he's got a good chance. That was the quote I saw.
Nice.
To play, which is kind of nice. Myles Garrett in the concussion protocol, which is very, very bad for the Browns. Not that things aren't bad for the Browns otherwise. But, I actually kind of thought they could make a game of this. It's weird because their defense is not bad. As long as the injuries are bad, I don't know what the defensive backfield looks like at the moment. But I kind of thought they could make a game, but without Garrett, there's a lot less chance of that.
Yeah, he makes everything go, I would think. And, it seems like, Jamar Taylor questionable, Jason McCourty questionable. Yeah, some depth issues there and otherwise not many playmakers. So, I think you got to give it a go for the top Vikings guys, especially, Rudolph, I think, should feast especially.
Yeah, and with the defensive backs, you can get Diggs, and Thielen's still getting tons of targets.
Right.
Latavius Murray, remember everybody, last 3 weeks. I know last week was the big one, but last 3 games since Cook got hurt, 12 carries, 15 carries, 18 carries. This would seem to be a game if you think the Vikings are going to win big. Like I said, I think the Browns could keep it close if Garrett plays. But if you think the Vikings are going to win big and score some points, Murray would seem to be a pretty logical beneficiary of that.
Yeah, game flow seems to make sense for him. He's probably the better non-PPR play. PPR, he's still got to go with McKinnon. But yeah, I think this sets up well for Murray to kind of at least have those double-digit carries again.
All right, and on the other side of the ball, there's just nothing happening.
Who's playing quarterback now? Bernie Kosar, right? Or
it's your Notre Dame guy again.
I know. My turnover happy Notre Dame guy.
He's in. He's out. He's in. He's out.
Hey,
he's in again. Yeah. Kaiser's in.
He's no Brandon Wimbush, so
Falcons Jets. So it's funny. I was doing my picks this week, and I looked and I went, it's the Falcons. They'll get better, right? Maybe. What's going on? Is this going to happen here or not? We're 7 weeks in, and I have said before, my biggest flaw as a fantasy player in football is that I can be stubborn because I played baseball longer than football. In baseball, you can be stubborn and wait for the guys to turn things around. In football here, we're 7 weeks in, and the Falcons are not really doing a lot on offense.
No, football's different. So many more factors go into player performance. And I think, it's Mario Puig in his film review articles noted a couple times, Steve Sarkisian still thinks he's coaching in college. He's treating Julio Jones almost like a decoy, even though last week he got his touchdown finally.
Yep.
But that was, garbage time, whatever. Still counts for fantasy. But yeah, there's something really off about this whole setup right now. Even Freeman and Coleman aren't really, pushing to be the elite tandem that they have been. There's some mechanical stuff that I'm a little bit concerned about.
I agree. I'm seeing people rank Tevin Coleman way too high this week. Some weeks he's lucky to get 10 touches. You can't have him even in a bye week. He can't be a top 20 running back.
I don't think so. The workload just really doesn't justify it. I think the Jets are a pretty decent PPR defense to allow points for running backs. That's probably what bumps him up. But yeah, it's, when he's struggling to get those double digits, and when this offense is playing the way it is, I don't know. Top 30, definitely. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I see the flex case every week for Coleman, even with these issues because he's so talented. But yeah, the floor is lower than it used to be.
All right. On the other side, I feel like we're forgetting about Matt Forte a little bit. Last 2 weeks, 17 touches and 12 touches for Matt Forte. So we're back. To a point anyway. There's still a three-headed monster to a point. McGuire's kind of getting buried now that Forte and Powell are both healthy, but Forte's getting his. And while we might not think the quality of those touches will be high in a week with 6 bye teams, volume matters.
Yeah, I think so. It's weird because, Forte's probably been the worst pass blocker of the 3 this year. Right. So I don't know. I guess that means that's why Powell and, to a lesser extent McGuire are still in on those, passing downs. But yeah, as long as the Jets are competing, still they're going to go with the guy who's been there more before, I think. So okay. Yeah, I would still kind of maybe hang on to McGuire in deeper leagues. I don't know. Maybe your cutoff point's a little bit wary, but yeah, it's looking like Forte's show with Powell as the PPR sprinkle.
Right. Okay. Panthers, Bucks. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Another one who's getting ranked too. I mean, again, I hate to beat the Christian McCaffrey dead horse, but in standard, even in a week like this, I find it very difficult to start this guy.
Yeah, well, this week is, his work, as you said, is never based on, actual running back running. It's based on his usual, going out for passes. I do think this is a great week against the secondary for everyone in Carolina, just about, there's potential for everybody to succeed. I think Benjamin and Funches are going to be real matchup problems again. And, then you figure Cam Newton on the road, there may be some trap issues there, but I mean, this matchup is too juicy not to go with these guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have them both top 24, the receivers. Yeah. Also in this game, the Panthers hoping to get some players back. They're hoping Ryan Khalil can go and Trey Turner and the line, so it won't be a disaster again. With guys getting hurt like last week. Who else? Kurt Coleman back. There's one other one that I should know since I live here and everything.
Luke's, yes, I was just saying, he's out of concussion protocol, I think, right?
He's still, as of yet, he's still in it. The coach said he's trending toward playing.
Right.
Even though he has not been officially cleared.
That makes sense. Okay.
Bucks side, DeSean Jackson is the maybe. Okay, I got one for you. After last week, if you had still owned O.J. Howard, before last week, which a lot of people didn't, are you like, all right, here we go? Because I'm not.
Well, I'm definitely not in DFS. You ever chase that type of production the week after. I don't know. You figure that they would have needed him to block more last week against the Bills. Carolina maybe gives a little more need for him to stay in as well, because that offensive line matchup against this defensive line seems like a mismatch. I don't know, Carolina against tight ends. I mean, I don't think they're the best matchup this year. That doesn't necessarily mean much, overall if Howard's just going to be involved. But his touchdowns, I think, both came on broken coverage last week. So I don't know. I think Carolina is a little bit less likely to give that up to someone like him on broken stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. And Brate is still
looking
at the last three games targets 9, 8, 9. I mean, Jameis loves throwing to that guy.
Yeah, he does. I think this might be a D-Jax game again. I don't know. Maybe we'll switch back to that this time.
Okay. 49ers and Eagles. So I'm looking at this game, and I mean, the Eagles lost their left tackle and one of their linebackers for the season. They played Monday night in a game, a divisional game that was a pretty, they had to be flying high, ha-ha pun, Eagle, on after that one. Is there... I mean, the 49ers have lost. Last week was different. All their road games so far actually have been very close.
Which is weird.
They lost 5 out of the 7 games. They lost by 20 to Carolina early. They got blown out by the Cowboys last week. And the 5 games in the middle were all very close. I know the 3 road games were all within a field goal. I feel like I'm seeing a letdown potential. I'm certainly not laying 13 points with the Eagles here.
Well, I mean, we said that last week too, with the trap game possibly with the Cowboys, and that didn't work out so well. I don't know. They might get Reuben Foster back this week. That could shore up the middle of that defense. I think I said that last week too, and he didn't end up playing. But that would still be a big addition. I don't know. The Eagles seem to be even more precise than the Cowboys. Although maybe I shouldn't say precise, because they have a lot of deep plays that have really worked in their favor this year. Wentz has kind of extended some broken down plays, and I don't know. Those quarterbacks are terrible, though. I think I trust Wentz to overcome any notion of a trap game here. Maybe defensively, who knows? But still, I don't know. CJ Beathard,
I don't know. Maybe it's more. I don't know about a trap. It's just that it's. I wonder if it's just hard for the not looking past these guys, but I wonder how hard after playing on Monday, how hard it would be for and losing those guys, how hard it would be for the Eagles to get up.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the Peters and Hicks injuries are pretty big. I will say that.
So short week. I know they're still home, but I don't know. That's why I'm just. I mean, I think they'll win. I just don't think it's going to be. I see things like, the Eagles are going to win 35-7. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This is the NFL, and things like this happened, and this seems to have the setup for a game that's a little closer than maybe we might think.
I won't rule that out. I just the trenches matchup with the Niners on offense is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. Maybe you're right about the injuries. I mean, Peters, that could be an interesting one for the run game for sure. And Hicks was good, but I think they have enough depth at linebacker to survive. So,
all right. Otherwise, in here, I wonder if Smallwood's the type of guy who, in a bye week, you could sneak in there. He had 10 touches last game. Coming back.
I think so. Like I said, the Peters injury, maybe they had to do a little bit more getting him in space type of thing. And, the Clement Barner stuff is more of the third running back, I think, now that he's back. So, yeah, Small was not a bad flex option for sure.
All right. Are we finally in Nelson Agholor's camp here?
Oh, I have been. I'm surprised Jeffrey didn't do anything with that matchup, that Josh Norman wasn't active last week. Yeah, I mean, Agholor in the slot seems to be one of Carson Wentz's first looks besides Zach Ertz. So, yeah, I like it. And they should give Matt Collins more playing time because that was a pretty deep play last week.
Okay. I'm checking out the Josh Norman status, by the way, right now. Yeah. Josh Norman.
Well, we can get that for later. Yeah.
Yeah, he can. I know we do it for later, but should be near. He's at practice this week, but he's limited so far. Okay. Yeah. Just made me think about the Redskins. You're right.
Right.
Otherwise, in this game, Niners. Carlos Hyde, if you have him, you're playing him. Garcon, if you have him, you're probably playing him. Everybody else, I'm not abandoning my pal George Kittle.
Marquise Goodwin had a nice busy week again. Yes. So there's some depth, deep passing there. I just don't know if Beth is going to be able to do it consistently. So
I have Goodwin at 34th at wide receiver, which is not not buried. Not unplayable.
No. Right, exactly.
Bears and Saints. So the Saints are actually kind of good. Go figure.
Yeah. That defense is really underrated, man. I think people are finally starting to realize that.
However, they've been giving up almost 5 yards a carry on the ground. So
true.
Jordan Howard owners probably should not fear. There's nothing else to speak of in the Bears offense except Tyreek Cohen, but he doesn't get the ball. Last week, he only had that one reception.
Yeah, that long ass reception. Yeah.
I know they ran a limited number of plays, but he literally did not carry the ball.
Right. So. Oh, that's the best way to use him, maybe in a lot of cases. I don't know. Dontrell Inman is an interesting pickup. Probably not enough to make me go wow.
Right.
And these cornerbacks just they've been playing awesome. Lattimore and Crowley. People are going to start talking more about these guys.
Yeah, the same. All the last few years of stocking up on the defense in the draft finally seems to be working a little bit. But
Kendall Wright might be matching up with Kenny Vaccaro in the slot. That could be a sneaky little, really, really deep league source of value there.
I like that one.
So
okay. Other side of the ball. Stop asking me about Willie Snead.
Sorry, man. I know I called you at 3 a.m. last night, but
he was kind of good last year. But people say, hey, could he be a wide receiver too? Like I wouldn't have never thought he'd be a wide receiver too before he was out for 3 weeks.
PPR, you gotta kind of have to like him, but I don't know. Ted Ginn seems to be taking advantage of his absence. I think that's going to stick for a bit.
He sure is. Ted Ginn is absolute. Ted Ginn's a top 30 this week.
I would say so. I don't feel the best about any confidence in Ted Ginn, but I think he's earned it.
Right.
Kobe Fleener's a non-factor. Brandon Coleman just happens to only score touchdowns. Not much involvement otherwise, and I don't know. It's just the usual crapshoot otherwise with the Saints.
I've got two Saints running backs in my top 20. I have Kamara at 17, so he gets it enough. He's double-digit touches in a week like this. Plus, as I keep saying, he passes the eye test.
Yeah. The Saints are finally doing the running attack that I've been worried about for like 3 years. Right. for drafting Drew Brees. So,
yep. Chargers Pats. If this was a 4:00 game, I know. It's not just narrative with the 1:00 kick for the West Coast teams. It's hard. I think I wish it was a later game, but I still think the Chargers can pull this off.
I don't know if I would. I don't think I would give the points in this one for New England. The Chargers. We talked about the fun campaign of them possibly going the distance to go into the playoffs again. That's a talented team. Great the defensive. The cornerback plays great. The Bosa Ingram pass rush is good. I don't know. It's a lot to overcome. But like you said, I think it's definitely going to be closer because the Chargers, if they know nothing, it's not playing close games, I guess.
Are you confident enough? Again, context, blah blah blah.
Right.
Are you confident enough in Dion Lewis to say I want to roll with him this week?
Well, the bye weeks, I have to in 1 week for buys. In 1 week, we start like 4 wide receivers and 3 running backs plus 2 flex. So he plays there for sure. Those are the only place I have him, I think. I don't know, man. I don't want to be always an RB2 for sure because you never know. This could be a Gillislee game again. The Chargers are, they're pretty weak against the run, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a case for
Gillislee's snap count was way down last week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but that was last week.
I know.
I don't know. I see the logic for Lewis is the number 1 back right now. I will say that with White second probably. I mean top flex for sure, Lewis. So I'll stick with that. Just for the security.
I have him 21st at running back.
All right.
The choice I had in a PPR league. Actually, it's a 2 running back, 2 receiver, and a flex. Mm-hmm. And my choice and my dilemma was Lewis and Javorius Allen, and I took Allen.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So
it was close. I mean, I literally have them right next to each other with Allen one slot ahead. But because it's a PPR, and Lewis is not, even though he has that ability, he's not catching a bunch of passes.
I know it's so they want to keep him, between the tackles. I mean, Lewis's ball security, I guess is a little better than Gillislee's right now. So right. I get it.
On the other side of this one, I mean, Melvin Gordon obviously playing if you have him. Same with Keenan Allen. Same with
he's questionable, but I think he's going right.
Right,
Gordon, I would think.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Keenan Rivers. Do you want to play Rivers in this spot?
I think I would.
The stats say so. Certainly.
I think the Falcons' shortcomings last week were more the Falcons' own than the Patriots actually improving that much. Even though there's the potential they could do better from forward, but I'll bet on Rivers just for the volume that I think is going to happen here.
Okay. Let's see. Anybody else here? The other receivers. I mean, no more Tyrell Williams. Hunter Henry's probably fine here.
Yeah.
I mean, roll with your Pats receivers, even though those Chargers corners have been playing well.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cooks and Hogan, you have to do it. All right, everybody, buying tickets can be complicated and confusing, but there's a better way to buy with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every game all season long. Whether you're planning a day out with friends, searching for a last-minute deal, or buying a gift for a loved one, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. Nothing beats being there in person for the biggest plays of the year, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. I've got the SeatGeek app on my phone. It's by far the easiest way I've found to shop for tickets. I can be anywhere, and with just a few taps, I can instantly find seats. Tim's actually going to use it. Can you use SeatGeek for Arizona Fall League? Can you do it?
I've done it before. And I just stayed an extra day on Sunday for the for the baseball HQ trip every weekend in that November weekend. I mean, yeah, I just got downloaded the tickets to I think it was the Cubs game, which is I love going to Mesa. It's a fun park to go to down there because it's got the Wrigley Field accents. So I might try to go there if I stay a little bit on Sunday. So we'll see.
Yes, Tim's going to First Pitch Arizona Fantasy Baseball
next
Thursday. Yep. That's where he and I met, and I've only been there once. It's every year. I'd love to go, and it just doesn't. Football doesn't help.
You got to come back.
No, and I remember that we were down there. The first couple of days we went to games, and we're in Phoenix, and all right, we're going over here, and it's 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, and then we went to that All-Star game, which was in Surprise.
Yeah,
like, are we going to the Grand Canyon? What's going on here?
Thankfully, it's in the Salt River Field, Scottsdale now, so you can go out afterwards and have fun and stuff like that. Scottsdale is actually not a bad place to party. So
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get to Scottsdale while I was there. I don't know why. I think it was like a poker night in Erickson's room or something. Where, funny story. That was when I met everybody, and during the day, the first day, they're like, "Do you play poker?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, I play with my friends. Sure, I can play poker." I walk in, and they've got the World Series of Poker on the radio. I'm like, all right, I'm in a weird place here. Well, what's going on?
Well, the Sharks reeled you in, I guess.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad loss because I got lucky cards, but
Yeah.
Well, I was clearly overmatched when I got in there.
No, it's a awakening experience playing poker with Jeff for sure. I'm usually a donkey, so
It was Jeff, Joe Sheehan, Jason Gray, like all those guys. I'm like, okay, this is not this is not my level of poker.
There's a lot of brain power in that room.
That's true. All right, everybody. Well, so you can use the SeatGeek app on your phone, And it's by far, like I said, easiest way to shop for tickets. Few taps, you got what you need. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. And to get you the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek rates every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats to fit your budget. It doesn't end with sports. SeatGeek also has plenty of concert, comedy, and theater tickets available too. And best of all, new users get $20 off their first purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app, enter promo code RotoNFL today. That's promo code RotoNFL for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. See it live with SeatGeek. Right seat, right now. Right from your phone. Thanks, SeatGeek. All right, Raiders, Bills. Are the Raiders going to come back to earth this week?
I don't know. I mean, riding high off the division win, I guess, it was a good matchup for the passing game to work and Amari Cooper. Not to be humble, but I did say that might have been the Cooper breakout, and I'm dusting off my shoulder right now for my one victory on the year. No, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, the Bills, they have some playmakers there. But, it's an offense where you can, rely on kind of after the catch stuff. So I think that could really help them. It might be Michael Crabtree instead of Cooper this week, though, because he might have the more favorable matchup with Sharice Wright. So
okay. Which Raider running back would you rather play?
Is there like a pass option? I think Rashard, just because he's a better playmaker. I think Washington will luck into a touchdown if nothing else. The goal line-ish type guy. But then Elijah Hood is probably going to be active, and he's got some size to him. So yeah, I think I have to go Rashard because he's the more unique of the three. He has the singular, reception skills kind of separate him a little bit.
Elijah Hood from Charlotte Catholic High School. Little shout out
there you
to
go.
The local down here. Yep.
There you go.
All right. Other side of that one. Okay. So deep sleeper wide receiver, Deontay Thompson. Interesting.
I don't know. There's so many factors of this Bills passing game. I mean, when you have Matthews, who another week healed from his hand, maybe he steps up a little bit more. If Zay Jones can only catch targets, you never know there. Andre Holmes always
half of them. Zay Jones.
Yeah, I thought it was less than that. Maybe it's catchable ones less than half.
I mean, if he only caught half of them, he'd be fine.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then you have Andre Holmes sneaks in here and there for a big play. I don't know. But it is cool to see Thompson happy to play for a real quarterback or a real passing attack, I should say.
Right. He was 4 for 107 on 4 targets last week. I mean, someone's got to catch the ball there, we think.
But didn't they play the Bucs last week?
They did.
Yeah. So there you go.
Absolutely. Colts Bengals certainly looks to be a blowout. Certainly looks to be a week if you're ever going to play Andy Dalton. This would be it. If you have him, this is why you have him. Will Mixon? Do you think Mixon's going to get loaded up after his bitching and moaning last week?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for the whining, it shouldn't be rewarded. I don't know if Marvin Lewis. I think Marvin Lewis will be dumb enough not to reward it. I don't know. We still like him as on the field. We still like his matchup for sure. It's just Gio Bernard kind of remains in the picture for me. I don't know. Mixon's probably maybe a high 2 this week though with all the buys anyway. So
I've got him. Let's see. Do I have him as a high 2 or a low 1? I've got him at 11.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's with a little bit of faith that, he will do something. And I think matchup based, he might only have to do things on 15 touches. So,
right. Okay. Let's see. Other side of that one, T.Y. Hilton, please. Andrew Luck, please come back, Andrew Luck. This is just the brutal with the T.Y. Hilton thing. Jack Doyle is still getting tons of, all the volume he can handle. Yeah.
I just wish Dante Moncrief could get more involved somehow. He's, got a lot of talent there. They found him on a couple of big plays this year and just don't seem to have the connection, I guess. And, and without Andrew Luck, it's not going to happen. But I don't know. I'm high on Moncrief in a keeper league for obvious reasons, but, not the most excited to play him every week.
Are you stashing Marlon Mack anywhere?
Yeah, I have him stashed in a few places. This might be a Mack before Gore type of game.
Okay.
So I could probably I would play Mack over Gore this week for sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Because in a bye week, you probably one of them's playable. So
right.
Texans Seahawks. I am not fading Deshaun Watson like other people seem to be here.
Yeah, he's a type that can overcome this type of matchup. Because he makes things happen with his legs and stuff, so that could add to things. I don't know. I think it's a top 12, maybe lower end of that.
Right.
I don't know where you have him ranked, but that's about you can't just go, oh, 5 touchdowns again automatically, or 3 touchdowns even, but 2 passing and 1 rushing, that's within reach, I think. Or 1 and 2 rushing.
1 and 1 is fine.
Right, exactly.
That makes him okay. I have him 7th actually. So just because the running, it is what it is. He sort of defies the traditional matchup stuff because of the way he plays.
I think it's more of a Miller-Foreman game, though. I really do, just because the Seahawks have been weaker against the run this year a little bit.
So Hopkins, what do you do? It's one of those weird weeks if you own Hopkins because you can't bench the guy.
Yeah, Hopkins is just about matchup proof, and I think if he lines up away from Sherman, that would help him. It might be Fuller and Sherman this week, so
okay.
I would think they move around Hopkins more if they can. So,
any interest in a Seahawks running back? The Seahawks backfield, even in a week like this, do you just say pass? I feel like you did about the Raiders.
Our CJ Procise love, I ended up cutting him in 1 league this week. I felt I cried a bit. I shed a tear.
Right.
I needed bye week guys, and I didn't think he was going to be the guy. So wide receiver, I needed replacements. So God, I hate it. I'm still hanging out for Procise the long term, but I don't want to play any of these guys. Even though Houston's defense without Watt could be gettable, but I think it's going to be more Wilson and everyone this week on the passing game.
Okay. Cowboys, Redskins. Josh Norman, we don't know yet. This would seem to be a shootout.
One would think. But the Redskins' offensive line injuries might come into play here.
Yeah.
That could be something bad. Was it Scherf and Williams, I believe? Or
Scherf, I don't know about
that.
Yeah.
It was one of the other ones. Hang on, I'm looking.
Okay.
Scherf.
So while you look, Rob Kelly came back last week, but Chris Thompson seems to be the man here. Otherwise, the weird thing, the big one with the Redskins now, Terrell Pryor is not just unproductive anymore. He's actually kind of getting buried.
Yep, Josh Doxson is shoving him out of the way, I think.
Yeah, this is bad.
For sure.
This is. You can't play Terrell Pryor. Like in the last few weeks, you can say, I think we probably talked last Thursday. I don't know. I don't have the recording handy, but we kind of looked and went, I don't know. Pryor's shaky and he's not playing enough. But this week it's more of a absolutely not. You can't do it.
The Cowboys, though.
I know. But if he's on the field for half the snaps, it doesn't work.
I know. And, Doxson is making more plays. This offense seems to fit him better. So.
Okay. Otherwise, let's see. So would you play? The thing is, would you want to play Doxson, though? Because the thing is, he's not clearly the guy. He's just more of the guy than he was.
I think Doxson in non-PPR is looking better because he has that red zone presence about him and the big play ability about him. And it's a good week. The Cowboys probably are vulnerable to that. He's a low 3 for me, or a mid 3 maybe for a bye week like this.
I've got Doxson I've got him at 38th and Pryor at 46, so I'm not going there. And Crowder, I don't know what to do with either.
I thought last week was going to be it for him, his big comeback, but Reed ended up getting a lot of those in the catch up mode. So
and look, if Reed's healthy and Cousins is thrown to him, that's option 1.
Oh, for sure, so, absolutely.
All right, so Thompson's got. The Cowboys. It's all the usual suspects there. So you're playing everybody. Who would you actually? I have a question for you.
Yeah, go.
Now, it's not anyone's choice, most likely. Would you play Dak or Cousins if you had the choice?
Oh God, Norman's status would affect that for me. If Norman plays, I think I got to go with Cousins. If not Norman, I'd probably go with Dak. To be honest,
all right, I've had Dak ahead. The running ability factors in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Steelers Lions. Not a shootout here.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not afraid of Ben on the road as much. I don't hate him. I don't love him. He's just kind of, where do I have him? 16th, so is what it is. You're playing your 2 usual Steelers. People are asking me about Juju, and I don't want anything to do with that this week.
His Twitter's funny, if nothing else.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I don't know. There's some truth to that, but then they put Eli Rogers on the field a lot too.
Right.
And Martavis, being benched or whatever, if they don't trade him, they're kind of wasting something a little bit. They could probably use improvement in some areas.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. At this point, you can plug in anybody for him in the grand scheme.
Let him go be someone else's headache, I think.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting one about the Lions. I know the Steeler defense is good. Golden Tate's out, right?
Right.
Marvin Jones was a busy man the last game they played before the bye, everybody.
Yes, he was. Yep.
So Marvin Jones, let's just check the numbers real quick. 11 targets, 6 for 96, and a touchdown at New Orleans. Now, that was a catch-up game, remember. They were getting the crap kicked out of them.
The definition of a catch-up game.
Yeah. But Marvin Jones was, Marvin Jones is playable again.
For sure.
I'm going with this.
Third wide receiver at least, yeah.
Yeah, I have Marvin Jones at 24.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So, we're in sync with these too much, I think.
Right.
we agree too much, yeah.
Actually, Marvin Jones, the guys I have him directly ahead of are T.Y., Kenny Stills, and Ted Ginn.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah, I don't know. The Kenny Galladay love, people are like saying, oh, he's finally back in. I'm like, they like Aberderis. They like T.J. Jones too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't trust Kenny Galladay to get more than 4 targets in this game.
Right, and if one may happen to be a deep play that connects,
right?
I guess so.
All right, Broncos Chiefs is the last one.
Yeah,
the Broncos offense is a dumpster fire at the moment. It's really bad. With Demaryius Thomas, look, I know the Chiefs are beatable through the air as we saw last week, but Trevor Siemian only has one option. So what gives here?
Benny Fowler's not a bad dice roll. I don't know. It's the tight ends, you can't pick one for fantasy ever.
Right.
As much as I like Derby, and Jake Butt might be coming back, so that throws another wrench into that. Yeah, Demaryius, he might get the targets, but they might not. It's probably gonna be like 50% connecting, if nothing else, with Peters. Get Devontae Booker more involved in the passing game. Forget Charles. I like the way Booker moves, man, after the catch.
Yeah, last year we thought that was going to happen, and it just didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Charles looks okay, but I don't know. There doesn't seem to be as much game-breaking ability as usual. I don't know.
CJ Anderson owners are looking at a 4.7 yards per carry allowed by the Chiefs. Should they be excited?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, Anderson's a strong 2, I think, this week.
They last week they threatened to get Jamal Charles more involved, and they kind of didn't.
Right.
I mean, do you think are you, if you own CJ Anderson, are you afraid of that this week, or are you kind of like, yeah, I'm not buying it?
The Jamal Charles revenge game narrative too. I still think Anderson's the better pace back. I think they can, people might be stacking the box though because of the lack of receiving targets. I don't know. The Chiefs' second level, it might not matter. So if you can get past that initial good, defensive line and pass rush, I think you can have success running against them as many teams have had. So I think I'd start Anderson either way. I think it's a game where they'd want to keep Smith and Hill and Hunt off the field more so.
Okay. And what about Hill? Is this
yeah.
I mean, as good as he's been, this is always the nightmare matchup for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like if Talib is matching up with him, I think he might be able to use his speed to get around him a little bit better. I know it's tough because Talib is great, but it's a physical matchup that could favor Hill because of his speed. If he's in the slot, I think Harris could take him. I don't know. It definitely depends how they use him. I think I'd still play Hill just because I don't know. There's enough here. I think Kelsey's a strong start either way. Tight end wise, Broncos have given up a little bit of points against them, but yeah, I can't bench Hill, especially on a week with so few options like this one.
So if you've been riding the Alex Smith wave, are you fading him this week in season long?
Relative. I think he's like a top 7 quarterback, maybe.
Right.
I still think he's in that range because the Chiefs do enough creative things like they can go to DeAnthony Thomas here and there, and if Demarcus Robinson actually shows up to be something, maybe they can get him involved somehow. Hunting the passing game is going to help too. So
okay. All right, that's it. It was an expedited version of the podcast today, I think.
Yeah, even with some baseball tangents.
They weren't extended, but you see, if it was the Yankees, it would have been 10 minutes longer for us.
Right, we would have made people hate us if that were the case. If they don't already hate us just for being Yankees fans, but
All right, everybody, listeners to our podcast get a free 10-day RotoWire trial at rotowire.com/pod. No credit card needed. That lets you check out nearly all the features on the site. Go try it now, rotowire.com/pod. What else are you up to other than your noon Eastern Facebook Live chat on Sunday?
It's actually balancing the baseball prep for that event. I keep going back to that, but it's been nice time of year, November. You don't expect to be juggling baseball, but starting rankings and stuff like that. Definitely invades with football territory. Just doing the social media stuff, just, sharing a lot of things. I was just on the Fantasy Network with Gary and Thorne yesterday on his YouTube show. Great show, The Rotation, by the way, if you guys check that out. I shared the YouTube link on my Twitter if you want to check that out and watch a little bit of Week 8 sleeper type stuff. A couple other things. I got my ESPN New Orleans radio show this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. You can fire away questions there for me, and if you want to call in, there's a number on the website. So, yeah, just mixing baseball with football. Mixing baseball seems to get earlier every year.
Favorite 2018 baseball sleeper?
I'm not even that far yet. I don't know. Raul Mondesi Jr. looks pretty good right now.
Interesting. All right. I'm scribbling that down.
Stolen bases, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Pile up.
All right, everybody, keep the reviews and ratings coming for this podcast. We really appreciate them. Thank you for listening to this edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Our next episode is going to be coming on Friday. It'll be in the afternoon. Derek Van Riper and I will wrap up all the news, injury report, all that stuff, and we will talk about tonight's Ravens-Dolphins game. I hope it's worth talking about. It doesn't sound like it, but I hope it's worth it.
Well, maybe Miami will break through. That'll be the fun part.
Matt Moore. It'll be Matt Moore's day.
Hey, one of the best backup QBs in the league. People got to stop dogging him.
I agree 100%. All right, that's all for today. For Tim Heaney, I'm John Halpin. See you next time.